Hello, my name is Stephen Kaler. I am 23 and I live in Hartford, Connecticut. I am a benefit calculation analyst and I technically am quarantining alone. I live in a solo apartment, but I hang out with my girlfriend 3 to 4 times a week. How long have I been in quarantine? I have been in quarantine for about 20 days. Since that date, I have gone into the office once or twice, but that's when I started hunkering down and laying low and staying inside as much as possible. Today I woke up at about 10:45 and I stayed in bed till about 12:30. The last time I went outside, I went to the grocery store today. That's the bulk of the time that I spent outside is going to and from the grocery store. My eating habits have indeed changed this quarantine. At first, right before quarantine started, I was stockpiling frozen meals and soup cans, Chunky's soup that eats like a meal. Great, love them. So I was stocking up, and so then when quarantine started, I'd be able to just suffice with those. And then, right around the same time, I was going to the doctor, and they were having I was having some high blood pressure issues. So my doctor told me to lay low on sodium for a little while and to change my diet and try to make it less sodium heavy, which is what all my frozen meals and soups had a lot of sodium. So I had to game change a little bit. And since then, I have been meal planning a lot. I do 2 or 3 meals on Saturdays and then just a lot of fruits and vegetables alongside it and kind of just rolling with that. It's been all right. I'm not the best cook, but I'm learning and getting better with the help of my girlfriend. My favorite quarantine meal, I have gotten Chipotle delivered a couple times, and that was wonderful, of course, because it's Chipotle. But my favorite meal that I have cooked and that I can take pride in is that I had a few leftover Dyson chicken nuggets, and my girlfriend had the wonderful idea of putting them on a grilled cheese I was making, and it was fantastic. Very good. So that was my favorite quarantine meal. Learned a new skill. Have I learned a new skill this quarantine? No, I have not. I have worked some skills that I hadn't in a while. I am playing the ukulele for the first time in a long time, and I just started reading a book. I haven't just read a book for fun in a long time, so at least that's something. How have I maintained structure this quarantine? Short answer is I haven't, really. The only structure is coming from having to be on my work laptop from around 9 to 5, give or take, and Zoom calls with family and friends. Otherwise, I'm hoping to sneak in 2 or 3 meals a day. I get out of bed whenever I want and kind of just go about my day moment by moment. It's mostly about trying to stay sane and changing things up. If I feel like I've been sitting on the couch for too long and I'm starting to feel a rut, I move and I go read for a little bit, or I work out a little bit. So just keeping sane, but not much structure. How often do I check the news? I actually check the news quite a bit. I have a breaking news app that has been a regular for about 6 months now. I'm keeping up with politics a lot, and I have been for a while through just watching the news, Reddit. This particular time, I have not been paying too much attention to the news briefings from the White House because I don't find them too useful. But I've been still keeping track of what's going on, especially with the quarantine and the COVID-19. So I've been keeping track decently. How has my city changed? Hartford has changed probably just by being quieter on the streets. Restaurants are obviously closed, and if not closed, they're just delivering. I went and did carry out of a restaurant a couple weeks ago, and even then it was walking in and there was a table halfway through the dining area where they would walk the food to you, give it to you. You would give them the credit card. They would go to the back. So it just is all very different. Anywhere you go, it feels you're seeing masks. And as for the Hartford business scene, insurance companies, financial companies, I like mine is I work for Prudential, essentially. And they're kind of getting by, I'm assuming. Everyone can work from home. I mean, my company is having no issues working from home with a couple of changes to the normal procedures, but otherwise it's relatively easy. And so I'm assuming most of the businesses of Hartford are going to get by, but of course it is the restaurants and entertainment and all of that is struggling. What will be the most impacted in my city? As for what I interact with and what I know, I would probably say just the theater scene, community theaters. I know a couple, or I've heard about a couple at least, that will not have seasons next year because they just will need to fundraise and just how to recover from a time like this. They're probably going to be hit the hardest, or at least the ones that I will have firsthand witness, will be a firsthand witness to all of it. One piece of advice, of course, stay inside. Do everything you can to stay inside and quarantine. As for after that, I would say just keep track of how you're doing a lot, because it's very easy to get into a rut, or at least feel like you just have wasted a day, or just lacking motivation like that and just feeling blah. So I would just try to be as self-aware as possible with that. And if you feel a rut coming on, I always just try to change what I'm doing, get up, move around, maybe do something cleaning that I can be actually engaged with something. Just something to keep you moving and keep you going. What am I watching on Netflix right now? I am currently watching Community. I just started Community, very funny. And I am watching The Crown as well. I'm finishing up The Crown.